Title: Bloodbound Dominion. Book description: hidden deep within the storm-choked mountains lies Nyxshade Academy, a school older than most civilizations, an invitation-only sanctuary for the monstrous elite. Witches, demons, soul-bonded beasts, shadows with sentience, cursed sirens, changelings, pain mages, and seers of flesh walk the halls, bound by ancient contracts of peace. And now, among them, comes a vampire far too new to be this powerful. A newly turned predator with more magic than the ancients, more restraint than the lusting, and a presence that makes even professors hesitate. He came to learn, but his very being makes others kneel. He is Darius, and she is Lune, the goth girl with smoke on her breath, ink in her veins, and something broken behind her eyes. But Darius isn't here for love or power plays. He's here to find out why he exists at all, why the night whispers to him in languages even the dead forgot, and why touching her feels like destiny and danger. This is not a love story. This is a story of seduction, dominance, aching need, and terrifying truth, where magic is sex, knowledge is punishment, and surrender is worship. Chapter 1. I arrived with the storm. The gates of Nyxshade creaked open as lightning split the horizon. No escort, no welcome, just the rain washing over my boots and the sound of something growling in the treetops above me. The path was made of obsidian stones slick with moss, the forest too quiet, like even the birds were holding their breath. I'd been summoned, not admitted. My name had appeared on a scroll I never signed. They called me Darius. I didn't pick that name, but it followed me anyway, like blood trailing behind a predator. They said I'd only been a vampire for 2 centuries, but I could make blood boil with a glance, command shadows to speak, and break spellwork that took archmages days to weave. No one knew why. I didn't either, but it terrified the right people. Nyxshade wanted me, and I wanted answers. Chapter 2, The Halls That Watch. The school was alive, not metaphorically. The paintings moved when you weren't looking. The windows bled moonlight even at noon. The headmaster, some creature wrapped in silk and flame, never walked, only hovered, muttering in dead languages. My room had no lock. Instead, it whispered lullabies in old vampiric when I closed my eyes. Students avoided me, except the brave, the broken, the curious, which is how she found me. Chapter 3, The Girl with the Serpent in Her Skin. Her name was Lune. She wore black like a second skin, her lips stained cherry red, her eyes ringed in shadow. Combat boots, leather skirts, tattoos that whispered, a snake coiled along her thigh, inked in such perfect detail it looked like it might hiss if you stared too long. She approached me during ritual theory. Everyone else gave me a wide berth. She sat beside me, legs crossed, foot arched just enough to show her soul. Dirty, beautiful, waiting. You don't look like a first year, she said, tapping her pen against her tongue. But you smell like someone who doesn't know what he is. Yet, I said nothing. Words were for mortals. Her smile twisted. "Want to learn together, vampire boy?" I didn't answer. I leaned forward instead and let my eyes wander. Throat, lips, the faint glisten of sweat at her collarbone. She shivered. Chapter 4, The Ritual. We didn't fuck that night. Not yet. First, she followed me to the library after hours, through corridors where things slithered behind the walls. She asked questions she shouldn't. I gave answers I didn't understand. She touched my chest. I pressed her to the wall. My mouth found the arch of her foot first. Dirt, ink, skin. She moaned when I bit her heel, then her thighs, her back, her ass, her name, beg. I whispered into her navel. She did, and then I made her do it again. With my tongue inside her, she came like someone drowning, clawing at my shoulders, sobbing my name, trembling as I whispered old spells into her womb. Chapter 5, The Others. Nyxshade's halls never sleep. A pain mage named Vex approached me next, offering his blood in exchange for protection. A changeling named Mira shadowed me for days before revealing her true form. Half light, half shadow, all temptation. But none of them tasted like Loon, and none of them made me question myself. Chapter 6, The Binding. The headmaster called me into the Iron Chapel, said my powers weren't natural, that I was a mistake, a curse, a god's broken promise. Loon followed me in, uninvited. She kissed my hand as I bled. She whispered her name into my veins. She bound herself to me. Now when I fuck her, slow, deep, her legs locked around my waist, our magic combines. Her sweat feeds my power. My hunger sharpens her pleasure. We are ritual incarnate. Chapter 7. Truth. I am not a vampire. Not fully. My turning was interrupted, tainted, touched by something older, something that lives between realities. A god of hunger, long buried, long forgotten. It chose me as a vessel. Loon is the key to controlling it, or unleashing it. Chapter 8. Aftermath. We don't graduate. We ascend. Loon becomes the new priestess of flesh. I, her warden. Together, we rule a new sect within Nyxshade, where worship is sexual, punishment is sacred, and pleasure is law. Students come to us for blessings, for bindings, for breaking. And I still start every night the same way, kneeling at Loon's feet, letting her remind me what power tastes like. After the story. Loon and Darius now govern the hidden wing of Nyxshade, a place where forbidden rituals and erotic magic are studied, embodied, and feared. They are the new gods of dominance and desire, and the world is beginning to notice. There are whispers of a second academy, of another vessel, of war, but tonight her thighs are around his neck, and he has no plans to come up for air.